intuitive person. The world which glorifies the continuous improvement is a world which coerces individuals to improve oneself continuously until they die. This is a world individual compared to other individuals, whether or not they are improving themselves compared to the people, and based on that, people are evaluated. We think it is putting too much burden for individual. That is more than the individual, what the individual can bear. That will actually encourage many people to opt into the infinite competition, and actually innocent people are dying as consequences. For that reason, ladies and gentlemen, we are very proud to oppose glorification and continued self-improvement. From Prime Minister, I want to talk about simply two things. First of all, I want to talk about what is the problem in the status quo, what the glorification of self-improvement is causing. And secondly, I will talk about what will look like and how it is better than their world. But before that, several clarifications from Prime Minister. First of all, what is glorification of continued self-improvement? We say that that is a narrative. It's great to improve oneself continuously until people are dying. And it implies you should do that. You should invest time and money on that effort to improve oneself. We as leader, it's debatable whether or not this pressure is regrettable or not. But we hope they live with this dichotomy that there is the pressure for the individual to obtain this competition to continue to improve oneself. And secondly, what do we mean by regretting this? We oppose the narrative to glorify this, of course, and we oppose the evaluation of human beings based on whether or not people are improving oneself, Mr. Speaker. We gotta support the narrative that is up to individuals whether or not they improve themselves. It might be good to improve oneself, but also it is good to stay at where they are. It's not plausible to put too much importance on continuous self-improvement. Just it's up to individuals. Even though you are lazy, you're not improving yourself. It's still the one way of life that society can recognize. So, given that clarification, I want to move to the problems in the status quo. So, Mr. Speaker, in the world where the continuous self-improvement is glorified, people feel pressure to continue, as I told you in the introduction. From the perspective of surroundings, people who make effort in improving themselves are very respected, but people who are lacking this effort are seen as very lazy, as a failure of human beings. That is a context in the status quo. So what are actual examples associated with this? For example, look at two competitive entrance exam system in Korea and other Asian countries. Even since they are children, they are told that you should improve yourself to the extent you can pass as high level university as possible. You need to go to, for example, Korean university by making too much effort from the childhood. Parents tell this, teachers tell this, corporations are telling this. In these circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, before thinking by themselves, whether or not doing this effort in order to pass this entrance exam is good or not, before thinking this, they need to obtain this infinite competition. Even after they can successfully enter those universities, there will be next competition, for example, in job hunting, whether or not you can go to Samsung or not. But then, even though you join Samsung, there's competition in corporations among the same peer, whether or not you can be promoted very early compared to the peer groups, etc. We see that competition is going to continue infinitely because we are talking about the norm about the continuous self-improvement that is very problematic. As a consequence, ladies and gentlemen, it's already painful for individuals to need to make self-improvement continuously before thinking that. If it's individual choice to make that effort, maybe it's plausible. But in the status quo, they are forced to do that. That is already painful. And also, more as a serious consequences, in the country where the career or one's ability is too much respected, suicide rate is quite high. Tens of thousands of people are dying in Korea every year because some people are failing, for example, in the entrance exam. They are failing in those circumstances. They are not respected in those circumstances. So in that situation, people are dying. And also, before that, yes.
Self-improvement is not only one direction, which is study. We have the room to think what kind of self-improvement is good for us. Please explain this weakness.
Yeah, that is exactly the second point about problems. So in their side of the house, individuals are not to make effort, which is highly likely to be recognized as an improvement. Because society wants an individual to improve oneself, even though you think it is improvement. If society doesn't recognize that, you will not be respected by society. That's why people are doing effort, but most of people are doing effort in order to enter university rather than becoming a music, for example, musicians or artists, because it is less likely to be respected as a self-improvement. That is actually problematic, and people are forced to do that. That is problematic. So how our world will be better in terms of this? So first of all, it's the simple consequences is that there is no more pressure to lock individual in the infinite loop of self-improvement that will actually liberate people from committing to this kind of competition and unfortunately committing a suicide. This will save people's dignity in human life. Seriously, this is a matter of human life. And also in our world, there are several incentives that attract some portion of people to improve themselves, even in outside of the house. For example, money, when you can be successfully joining Samsung, maybe there's money that will award you, and maybe you can gain self-esteem by improve yourself. The point is, difference here is that in the status quo, in their side of the house, individuals are forced to improve yourself without thinking what is the best, most important value for individuals, whether or not this type of improvement is important for individual. That's problematic. In our world, there is room for people to think about what's the important value for oneself. Maybe it's not about self-improvement, it's just living together with the people you love. We think that kind of judgment can be only happening in the outside of the house because there's no more continued self-improvement, pressure to improve yourself in outside of the house. So ladies and gentlemen, our stance was very clear. We are talking about this, we are saying this is a matter of people's life. People are locked in infinite competition, and if they fail, or if they feel they are too much higher, people dying. In the outside of the house, people are free. They can choose whatever they want. If you want to improve yourself, it's fine. But if you don't want to do that, it's also fine. That will actually more dignified life for human beings. So that is what we propose.
Thank you for the remarks. Next cycle on the leader opposition. We open your next case in 7 minutes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, people don't live in order to sustain their biological function. People live and people find the meaning in their life because they can improve themselves and they can find the meaningful extent of their own position. We think this comparison here is that in which side we can create a better way or a better condition for individuals to improve their own meaningful life, ladies and gentlemen. We think this government's paradigm is not the case. We think the opposition paradigm is going to further make people able to find their own meaning on their life. I'm going to talk about two things in my speech. First of all, why under their side of the house, people are less likely to lead meaningful life and what is extremely harmful for the particular individual. Secondly, why in our paradigm, people are highly likely to lead a meaningful life and by improving their own ability, improving their own process, and find the meaning within the process they made the efforts. Before the clarification, first of all, continuous self-improvement, glorified self-improvement means they put the value on the process that makes the effort at the end of the day. Because they make the effort and they show their evidence they did in the past, it's crucially necessary to be evaluated as the self-improvement. As they characterize, for example, people doing the effort, probably how much they actually committing to self-improvement is something that valuable things even on the outside of the house. But secondly, the reasonable self-improvement is not so much too much overwork. For example, don't sleeping for 24 hours a day. For example, overly working every day, every time. But we don't really think this is a reasonable levels of self-improvement. Within a reasonable context we are talking about is, for example, continuation of daily effort. For example, 100 vocabulary they learn in one day. For example, doing the muscle training on a daily basis, but they can find the meaningful extent of their life within that process. That's a contention coming from their side of the house. Therefore, we think that so too much abusive environment, forcing individual to over and over work is unrealistic in this debate. All about to be integrated. Moving on to my first issue. Why under their side of the house people are less likely to lead a meaningful life? They say, well, the keeping status quo is fine, and keeping the current their own human beings is going to be also a valid choice of individual. First of all, we think this people cannot be essentially satisfied with the current themselves. We think that here is the necessity of improvement. Two reasons. First of all, they think that people think we can just consuming. They are wasting their own free time by not doing anything, right? In this situation, people highly likely to think, well, there are another time that they have to do. But the thing is, what they did is doing, for example, watching the YouTube movie or every day, every time, without considering any fact that they actually did. But secondly, we think that more essentially, the reality of surrounding environment surrounding you is not so very good, ladies and gentlemen. For example, the family or those friends might be died. For example, the grandfather might be died. There are a lot of things a lot of things surrounding you which make you unhappy, right? In this situation, what the individual can do is to improve themselves, to find their meaning of life in their process. Secondly, this cannot be changed under their side of the house. No, thank you. Here's the necessity of this glorification. 4 reasons. First of all, we think that essentially people are highly likely to be lazy, ladies and gentlemen. People find their own happiness on their life, or for example, happiness the process of their sleep. But secondly, we think that doing the effort itself just makes it the burden as they characterize. We think we agree with that, but the thing is, this makes people are more likely to become lazy at the end of the day. But furthermore, people are extremely short-sighted in the very first place. People cannot foresee a long-term future benefits, future profits, or even a little bit longer benefits, but they find the meaning within their own current situation. But first of all, no thank you. Under their side of that, there are less surrounding support to enforce the people to get the environment to self-improvement. For example, even though there's a song is lazy, mother don't scold them because of those songs is actually mothers don't think they should be lazy or they should keep their current situation. What's the impact on the individual? 3 things. First of all, no thank you. At the end of the day, they feel the emptiness in their lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, they actually find, they know that I really want to become, for example, singer, want to become musician, but I didn't do any effort and didn't do any effort, for example. We think this is actually harmful. But secondly, they also regret the past process, they actually become lazy, no thank you. Because they think that what they actually regret, that kind of things that they didn't do their own effort. But third of all, they think hardness in the process of self-improvement is itself actually meaningful experiences, no thank you. Okay, so therefore we think this is actually impact on individual. Second of all, why on the outside of the house people are highly likely to become meaningful in this?
So you talked about the person who cannot be satisfied about what they are currently, who feel it's empty. And those people are naturally encouraged to make those kind of improvement by themselves. Why this narrative is?
Please listen to my speech, right? Even though they are unsatisfied with current situation, people are essentially lazy, and there's necessity, here's a necessity self-improvement. We told you the 4 reasons why we think necessary, they have to engage with that. So moving on, second issue about our side of the house. So we think that glorification means that people can, for example, internalize their value to make they have to make their own effort, they have to improve themselves in their life. But secondly, there's an external support that says that my father, my mother, or the teachers said you should improve their own skills at the end of the day. Secondly, they can find what they actually want to do. This is a crash point with their side of the house. First of all, people are highly likely to want to do basically, right? They have something that they will actually want to do, things like become a singer, or etc., etc. Secondly, they want jealousy to the people actually they want to get in the future. But third of all, they say that social categorized improvement is going to impose individual. But no, we think that is even it's rather opposite. The other side of the house, the academic supremacy force them to get some a meaningful life experience on the other side of the house. On the outside of the house, within the process, during the self-improvement itself will be evaluated. Therefore, we think people can expand their choices to choose what they really want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we think that self-improvement is necessary and important for individual to materialize the benefit at the end of the day for individual. We beg to pause.
Thank you for the remarks. Next time, we're going to take a minute to continue your case in 7 minutes. Take care.
Thank you, Robert. What you heard from the opponent side is simple. The continued improvement is good. Yes, it's fine. As if they're going to do so, that we more than happy to support it. The point is that the society push every individual to that improving themselves continuously. Also, it's also not only pushing that the self-improvement itself, but also that what idealistic form of the particular individual, or what idealistic form of the stoic that's making effort with these kind of things. We recognizing that that's the toxic, that simply make people unhappy. So that's why that's a very simple reason why. Okay, very simple. If they really people want to improving themselves, you should do so. But the people who won't do that, sleep all day in holiday, that's fine. It's okay. You know. Okay. I have the two arguments. The first of all, that's what exact form of that glorification of the continuous self-improvement, how it's spreading in society, and secondly, that's by existence of this type of spreading image of that self-improvement, why that people cannot satisfy, why people get damaged by this type of way of making effort. Before moving on to the point of the response, they told us they are assuming that the too much amount of the effort is an unrealistic way, etc. But the true response here, first of all, they just say that it's unrealistic, but they never explain to us why it's unrealistic. Still, even currently that, of course, this is not at all company, but still many company try to push every employee to work hard and making effort regardless of the salary, also sometimes sacrificing the private life. This kind of thing. It's actually happen. Why is that? Two reasons why. First of all, that idealistic image is sharing in that particular community. If you're working in that company, this kind of image of the working hard is good. It's sharing in that company. So on that occasion, no one actually criticizes. And also it's difficult to voicing out. We already tired or we already hard to improving themselves. They cannot do so. That's why still they continuously make more hard and more hard. That's actually is pushing themselves extremely hard way. Furthermore, secondly, the media also that's a picture that depicts the image of the very idealistic people who already success in the particular genre. For example, they success in business, they success in the sports player. That kind of people's image also saying that if you work hard and also improving themselves, you can become so. So on that occasion, that's always that image, that way of the effort is too much. That is problematic, we say.
Second point is about they talk about that people is that lazy, that do not improve in themselves, etc. Two response here. So first of all, that I don't know about the exact meaning of that laziness, etc. But still that's there. Sometimes that's bored in that every day, or sometimes watching that TV, and also thinking that I want to be that a professional player, or that's just I want to go to this university, etc. Just very simple. That's just interesting, or that's daily unsatisfaction. People that just make effort, just they have for the thing that they want to do so. And secondly, that even if that people is that lazy, that's fine. We do not opposing that people that sleeping all day. That's still happy. I don't know that's making meaning of life. These kind of things. Why that's if you sleep all day, you cannot understanding that's meaning of life. It's fine. Just enjoy. So because simple reason why that's the importance of that life isn't that just I don't know that's work hard or like that's meaning of understanding meaning of life. Just enjoy, and also that just you're choosing the preferable way of life. It's rather important. That's the stance of that government side. So moving on to first issue. So what exact form of that image, or how to that spreading that image of that self-continuous things. We think that this, yes, it's not, okay, this image that's easily spread in society by the two reasons why. First of all, that, as I already mentioned, that it's also the depicting that very idealistic image and very perspective from the past people mindset. For example, I don't know, Jones, Tariq, but these kind of things. That they also not only that idealistic image, but also that they are work hard. And also sometimes, if I work hard, I very enjoy it. Also, this is my meaning of life. I enjoy, and also I becoming actually success. That is good, right? That this is very simple reason why. Very attractive, and also very shared in society, because many of the incentive to that sometimes glorify, and also spreading and picking up that nice image of that working hard. The second reason, another people surround you is also recommend you to working hard, because they already having that image, self-improvement, or the changing your lifestyle is always good thing. That's why they have that the voluntary told you that you have to go to that gym, or you have to go to study more hard. You have to, I don't know, that's speech practice, etc. These kind of things, but voluntarily they do so. It's actually unfortunately that's pressurize themselves, because it's easy to reject that, because you also know that these people think about you. That's why they recommend you. So on that occasion, that's actually that this type of image is currently spreading in society. We recognize these kind of things. So why it's significantly problematic? That move on to second issue. Now we think that even the best case scenario, the people try to improve themselves. That it is not the suitable way of that future image. This is not suitable way of make effort from the perspective of you. By the two reasons why. The first of all, that this is not the idealistic image of yourself. So, for example, let's imagine about the people who want to play, who love to play sports. You think that always from the child age, you always think that the professional player, or I don't know, you are the senior, the play big, work hard, and also actually do so. You do not have an actual choice to just enjoy the baseball or this kind of idea. So that's why we think that the spreading image of the idealistic future image, or just you that blindly believe this is our preferable way, isn't always suitable for you. This is not sometimes that even you success is unfortunate that actually you disappointed. This kind of thing is very happy, because as I already mentioned, media glorify that image. Second point is about that way to make effort on their capability. So also also in the society, the glorifying this self-improvement, they also depicting picture very stoic way. That yes, they are able sometimes sacrificing the sleeping time, even do not sacrificing sleeping time, do not watching the YouTube, do not watching TV, just study or just do the practical making effort. That image is actually spread that. Yes, that's not bad thing, but unfortunately that if that image is spread that, people believing that this is the only way, this is the correct way, this is the ideal way of making effort, regardless of your capability, how much sleeping time, or private time, what you need, regardless of to making effort. Actually, that's the first of all, that is simply sometimes unhappy. Secondly, that sometimes they cannot achieving that their idealistic image. What I told you, very simple. If you want to sleep every day, that's fine. And also, if you want to work hard, yes, do. Thank you.
Thank you for the remarks. Next cycle from detailed opposition to continue case statement. Here.
We look at the realistic character. Even though you choose to be lazy, it does not mean you are satisfied in your own life. Even though you are lazy, for example, university student or something need choose to watch the YouTube video every day, or you choose not to study rather than sleeping. But it does not mean they are emotionally satisfied. It does not mean there can be extremely important choice for yourself. Still they feel the empathy. Still they say, so if I do, I can. By having such a hope, but they are not so active enough to make an action, and such can make a routine life of such kind of emptiness, and they cannot change. This is the reality we are talking about. Their analysis is too idealistic. People can do whatever which is important for yourself. It's so doubtful. That's why we are saying necessity of glorification, especially for the people who are not so active enough to take an action, people who are not so brave enough to opt out of the situation of the emptiness of such a routine. That's why we are saying this is important. Please don't misunderstand this analysis. So based on the two things to talk about, first of all, the case of genocide has about a coercive choice or something like that, which is rather counterproductive and it's so irrelevant argument. And second, let me extend the case of my partner. In our lifetime, we can achieve at least relative self-satisfaction, how it's so important. But before that, one simple important factor. The analysis from coming from the EPM is about the black corporation or coercive choice made by the media or something like that. Question is that whether it's unique to this motion or not. Of course, we know this problem exists. But problem is that even in their lifetime, corporation is still profit seeker because we have an ideology of capitalistic. Still we need the money to achieve your own life. Unlike any boss or corporation force you to work for the such corporation stability or even academic supremacy about the Korea such an extreme context. And they have such academic supremacy because people think that being so go to the University of Tokyo, University of National Korea University is so good. On that occasion, we never ever hear how uniquely this self-improvement of this narrative can change your own incentive, how you can change like a social structure. We are saying self-improvement is just a process evaluation. If you continue to improve yourself, it's good. We are not saying go to the University of Tokyo is good. We are saying to study is good. This is a difference. They try to mislead. And we are the actor to lead the motion more than their self-pass. Based on that, we go to my personal analysis. Problem of their self-pass. The problem is when they have a coercive choice or something like that. First of all, we say it's less likely to be coerced. The analysis is that simply people try to opt in. That's a highly evaluated choice, and people likely be coerced. So first reason why it's not true is that, especially in today's current reasonable context, the majority of people can respect everything lifestyle choice. Even as an artist, people don't criticize you are artist. People don't criticize the people who try to be as an artist or musician. Why people are so malicious enough to deny? Why people are so malicious enough to such only import your own only direction, which is study or something? It's not so reasonable analysis. But what's the kind of, especially this motion saying, just as a glorification of continued self-improvement. As long as you want to be an artist, you will make improvement. People don't deny it. We are not talking about the consequence based. We are talking about improvement. As long as you are making self-improvement, no one denies. Their problem is that, irrelevant to this motion, is not responsible for this motion about continued self-improvement. This motion is not about high levels of improvement. We are not saying the gravity of improvement is important. This motion just says, as long as you are continuing of making effort to improve yourself, it's good. Please don't mislead this analysis. So move on to second analysis. Of course, even people are coerced. We say it's rather good, but it's so totally not mutually exclusive. Why not? Their context is about academic supremacy, or the corporation has a super possible structure, or something like that. But problem is that, as I said again, even at that time, there are structure to seek the consequence. If you need a reason, let me explain. Money is good. That's people have such people have the idea. Still, even in Korea have the idea. So go to the good university. It's good. More than representative. We just such a process of improvement. Just the consequence. It's a very very high standard from societal value. On the case, still even in Japan, it exists. On the case, we need a comparison in such a context, which is better to have the process of the glorification of self-improvement or not. I have two reasons why. No, thank you. It's better than the SI pass. First reason is that at least even though you are coerced anyway, so you can have positive value judgment on your own process. Even though you are thinking, and you have to work, you have to study in the Korean children or something like that. But at least those Korean children believing, because of this glorification of self-improvement, I can improve daily basis. Even though I cannot think whether saying good or not, at least I can think, I can improve by myself, by daily steps. On that way, they can affirm themselves, they can be confident over themselves. On that, in that time, so they are doubting why it is important, why I have to do, why I am coerced, and why it is important to improve themselves, because they are knowing knowledge of glorification. More second of all, we say, at least, in outside part, anyways, people think of consequence, we can make better consequence. In the kind of context of academic experience, they are relatively, people can go to high levels of university because they can study more because of the glorification of self-improvement. Why is that? I don't understand. It's good for yourself.
So read the motion. You are sticking to the process of improvement, but motion requires you to glorify the improvement itself. Why, if the consequence of improvement is bad, you are not going to be glorified. Please engage in motion.
What's self-improvement in the process? How to improve the process? I don't understand. Move on to the second analysis. How applying is important. There are some things that people can freely choose, people can freely recognize themselves of value in the first place. A point here is that they never ever engage building spirit of leadership posture. How people cannot be active enough to take action in the first place. Moreover, that even some people are lazy. They are saying, fine, we say it's not true. As I said in my introduction, it is not so simplistic debate as a connection of the connection of being lazy is a fine. Being lazy is your own choice. We are saying it's not true. People can satisfy. Why doesn't people can satisfy in the lazy life? By spending so much time in the YouTube. That's their own choice. To be lazy, that's their own compromise. Their negative comparison, which is bad for yourself, because without glorification of narrative, they cannot want to study. At least it's better than consume the time by the YouTube, why people can be happy in the first place. On the at least in your time, people can self-confidence, people can self-recognize or self-affirmation by doing self-improvement. They can feel satisfaction, they can improve. I'm different from the former day or something like that. That's why this is important. We are supporting. Following, we are very proud for this motion.
Thank you for the remarks. Next time, open the government week to conclude the case and set a date. Thank you.
I have two broad questions. First, on should self-improvement be a virtue for everyone? Because opposition case is limited to the people who are not able to improve by themselves, and it's only that when they're imposed through this narrative are able to improve themselves and ultimately achieve their goal. That is not necessarily like, not all society is dissatisfied with the status quo. Not everyone can improve by themselves. It's not necessarily that this narrative will give them the proper guidance, the methods in which they improve themselves, because improvement requires you to think hard and build yourself. If it's imposed, it might not be the case. It is very limited people that are supporting. When we're telling you that this collective societal narrative is coercing people to drive them to just work hard continuously when they don't need to, and it looks like a tokenistic virtue that they just work hard, which is driving people, unfortunately, to suicide in contexts like Korea or unfortunately in Japan. And we think as a narrative society, it should not be a virtue for everyone, and it should be a choice that people can opt into. We're talking about a situation where people prefer to enjoy going to bubbles or communities or self-improvement, like following Twitter or Tamiswe, or watching these vlogs or things like that. These things can be a voluntary choice of the people and not something that should be glorified and people to be exposed to in all circumstances. I think it's not making sense. A question of whether it's important for all is a crucial answer, things that they had to engage with. So let's go on. No thanks. So first of all, they say that all the exploitation and problems by corporations and things are not their fault. It might not be the fault that it was created in the first place, but the extent to which it's amplified and makes it difficult for people to opt out of the circumstance it's created by these narratives. Because it's important to note that the reason why black corporations were there was because with bad management of these, entrepreneurs, it might be the case. The thing is that the ability of individuals to opt out of it is based on the ability of individuals to think that the situation that they're in is problematic, and think that this coercive pressure of working hard is something that is not necessarily a virtue. When these entrepreneurs, as you see in status quo, is able to brainwash these individuals or lock them into small communities where they say that you should work hard, you should continue, and your attempt to think that this is wrong, is something sinful, is obviously amplified when you glorify the narrative that continued self-improvement is something important. And when you think that this should be the way you continue to improve, and it's that you should continue to improve, other ways in which you attempt to continue to improve, or simply you taking other approaches to continue and taking a relax in certain moments, is simply denied. That's why your, best way to improve yourself is also rejected, but your attempt to seek for other communities or other job opportunities is also limited. And I think that this scenario is simply exploited for individuals to be able to become unable to opt out of it, but further deprive the individuals of capability to think about how they should improve and actually improve it. And that is a scenario where this improvement is becoming a tokenistic thing, where often you try to practice every day, because you're not doing right, you don't really improve, and that is the regret that they uniquely create on their side of the house. Then they also said, their main argument is that you can't opt out, and you don't like the status quo, and you can't opt out. We think we are clear in the POI that if you don't like your status quo, you probably would think about it, and you would try to seek for help, and try to go out of the situation because you don't like it. You would do it yourself. Their analysis is that you have little people to seek help for. We think that's not true, because it's necessarily that when people are trying to seek for something and are voluntarily trying to do something, or when they ask for help, we think that parents, teachers, friends, or if not these actual people close to you are not helpful, social networks or internet are there to help you and provide the necessary assistance for you. It's not necessarily that their analysis that parents are not willing to invest you so much. It's the only scenario in which the individuals are not able to seek for help or improve themselves, and I'm not sure why it's necessarily the case. But also importantly, if they are lazy, it probably means that the compulsion and the necessity of opting out of that situation is not that severe. Because if they think that they can, just eat and not really think hard about the problem of the status quo, they probably are mildly acceptant and are okay with being in that lazy situation. The extent to which they perceive the status quo as a problem is not really that severe. But we do concede that they said that, some people might regret that, we were lazy 5 years ago and we are in a situation that we totally regret because we didn't go to a good university or something like that. That is true, but we think that that is not necessarily something that is truly important, because it's not necessarily that you didn't do that, you're gonna die. It's not necessarily that you have to go to university to have a successful, meaningful life. We think that, having a mild life with your families and building it does not require university and self-improvement to its ultimate extent. But also importantly, this regret that you did not do too much is amplified by the glorification of continuous self-improvement. It is this narrative that makes you feel that it's regrettable. In the absence of a glorification, it is your choice. It's okay for you to be lazy. Then why do you have to feel regrettable? And I think that the problem is minimized. But ultimately, the comparative is that these relevant people who cannot improve by themselves and can only improve by societal narratives created is the things after that they're able to protect on their titles. Contrast to that, we told you numerous people who are coerced into this situation, because if it's continuous self-improvement, it's not necessarily an improvement that is something that you did voluntarily. It's something that is created by society and imposed on you. It's an unnecessary labor and effort that you have to make because people are telling you, society is telling you, and if you internalize it from your childhood and think it's okay, and I'm able to reconcile it with your own desires and the sense of guilt, they should continue to improve. That is something that will haunt individuals regardless of the context of the situation that they're in, and the actors that we're talking about are more comprehensive but are more detrimental because you're made to feel that the actual doing of laziness and enjoying your holidays with trips and things are sinful and not necessarily important. That's why your values of doing what you truly want are denied by the glorification of self-improvement, because narratives or livelihoods that are not preferable in the context of self-improvement are simply rejected because it seems that self-improvement is the actual virtue. The last thing they said was that, it's the fact that you are doing it is going to be appreciated, so that's good. But it's contingent on that you have diverse opportunities and you're able to become politicians or musicians, as they said. Obviously, the percentage of individuals that are able to reach success as musicians, politicians are the very few people. That is why the narrative of self-improvement and reaching the result is the most exclusive kind of narrative. Because the people who are able to reach the results that they aspire for out of the self-improvement is only limited to very successful people. And the 99% of people who will not be able to establish their livelihood based on politicians or musicians will be excluded of it, feel a sense of regret and denial of it because their improvement was not worth it, or simply they were rejected for environmental circumstances. That is why the crucial question of what norm is preferable is crucially important. We think that norms are something that should be inclusive to societal membership. We think that when they say that biological beings are important, but obviously we think that that's not the case. We think that individuals should be able to pursue what they want, and the ability for them to be able to pursue it in the exclusion that is not compatible with self-improvement will be rejected. The only success that they're able to have is only for the 1%. That's very exclusionary and denial of the choices that individuals want to go on with. I think that world is not something that we want to live in.
Thank you for the remarks. Next, I call upon the opposition group to conclude their case in 7 minutes. Thank you.
We believe that the world is full of suffering, of depression, of diseases and death of loved ones. To be happy and satisfied by the status quo, to be fully fulfilled with a happy family is impossible in this world because it will shatter and break at some point in the future. In order to find meaning in life and overcome that and keep on going on life, we need something more than just being happy with the situation. We need something that drives you, that shows you a direction where to tread to, what to do next. And we believe this is ubiquitous to every single person in society, not to only a certain group of people. That's why we believe that this motion is beneficial to every single person in society. And even if certain people will be coerced, we still believe that in their paradigm they have no alternative to give these people meaning and direction. Therefore, we believe we still will take this motion. So, two things to do. First, about what the government opposition side says about why self-improvement or self-improvement coercion, and second of all, why lazy we believe cannot be there cannot be an alternative on their side, and second of all, why there's such a dire necessity for self-improvement in society. So first, about their cases. They say that self-improvement will be coerced. What they bring us only onto the table is our certain self-improvement with certain values of studying, of success, of work ethic, and whatever and whatnot. But we believe they're just taking glorifications of specific particular values, but they're never really addressing self-improvement itself, in and of itself, but only in certain particular implementations in society. Furthermore, there is a necessity in this case for them to talk why this is the most important case, why this is a majority case that we should debate about. Furthermore, even if that is the case, what we say, even in those society, we believe the direction and the meaning that this self-improvement gives to many people in their societies is on par or even bigger than the harm that will occur with depression or even suicide in their case, by giving every single all the other people a meaning and a direction to tread to more deepens in my next point. But furthermore, let's compare that they say they are only tokenistic and just, are brainwashed by certain ideas in their societies. When we see, for example, how are these ideas spread actually, they never really talk about. We're talking about cases like, for example, the famous psychologist from, for example, Canada, Jordan Peterson, his book about, for example, self-improvement, the bestsellers in, for example, America, or even a bestseller in Korea. The people read those books, and through these kinds of means, they get the ideas about self-improvement, right? So not necessarily, it's not about brainwashing from certain companies, but also through psychologists and philosophers, they spread these ideas. But we not necessarily don't think that they're always tokenistic and brainwashed. It's only a good case for them, we believe. So, but why they care? The next point about they say lazy, can be happy. But we only think that when you're lazy, when you enjoy your free time, you only enjoy it when you actually have a balance with actually working. For example, if you have endless holidays for the rest of your life, and you can do whatever you want, at the beginning it's fine, it's fun. There, you can do whatever you want, play games and whatever and whatnot. But once, 2 months, a year after that, there is nothing. This is so boring. It's the same stuff over and over again. And then you feel vacant because there is no direction you're treading, no direction you're actually going to, and there's just the same situation over and over again all the time. We believe humans necessarily and instinctively desire meaning in life. There's a meaning in anything. And if you have only the same situation going on and on, there is nothing of meaning for you, we believe. So only the laziness, you can enjoy free time on our side, even more on their side, right? After you worked out, after you studied a lot, go with your friends and have fun, then that's actually laziness that you can enjoy and balance with meaningful self-improvement. But in and of itself, just being lazy without self-improvement is not happy or alternative that gives you meaning in life, we believe. So, next point about the dire necessity of self-improvement. What we're talking about on our side, we're given the analysis that how are people going to find meaning and value in life in their paradigm? Is when given the context and the status quo, the world is full of suffering. Suffering is ubiquitous to every single person. You have probably experienced death with a loved one, fights with friends and other people, diseases might be affecting you or anybody that you know. Failure is ubiquitous to everybody. Life will beat you down. Everybody in life, we believe. But especially given the context that religion is always declining and there is no absolute value that you can grasp to. In that situation, we believe, when you only believe that being satisfied with what you have, cannot give you meaning and strength in times where you are shattered and beaten down, which will happen to anybody. So where do we derive that meaning? Where do we derive power in those situations to move on to? We believe that's in this self-improvement. Because self-improvement in this case, it's first of all, regardless of any other person, you can do it, right? Because in cases of what they might say in that paradigm of being happy with the situation might change, and it's not in your powers to stop that. Like, death might take away a person that you love. You can't do anything about that. But in cases of self-improvement, you have the power. You can change about the situation that you have. And when they talk about self-improvement, they say, it's always about comparison. But it's improving upon yourself. That is to say, it's improving upon your former self. So when you are better than yesterday, better than a week ago, then you can feel good and move on with that. We don't necessarily believe it's always we don't believe it's about being better than anybody else, but it's about being a better version of yourself. And we believe that is very, very achievable to any person in society, right? Not impossible for them. They say it's only for a few people because it's also dependent upon the results. What we say here from the very beginning, and they don't really give us a reasonable response, is that it's not about the results, it's about the process of being better than yesterday and having a direction to tread to. So you can be happy and satisfied and have meaning in your life, you don't necessarily need to achieve the results, but you only need to improve upon your former self, I believe. So what we say in this debate, we're talking about cases like, for example, you are a person in society, you have something of suffering. For example, a child gets a disease or a loved one of yours dies. What do you do? And in that paradigm, we believe there's no meaning. People get depressed and they go into, for example, becoming alcoholics or drug addicts and don't know what to do about this. But what we've seen is that how alcoholics and drug addicts are lifted out of that dire hard situation is by actually recognizing that you can improve yourself. You can be a better person. It's not all about studying or those kind of things. You can stop being an alcoholic, improve upon your life. And we believe in order for that to have, in order to save those people, we need to have self-improvement. That's why we are proud to glorify it. Thank you.
Thank you for the remarks. Let's cycle from the device speaker for our position slide to summarize this debate. Take care.
deal with two issues today. First of all, I want to deal with their cases government from government side. Secondly, about paradigm comparison. Moving on to the first issue. So they say, first thing they say is that there's a coercive norm to force individual to work over their own capacity. First of all, the definitive leader motion sufficiently rebutted by saying that it's not unique to the motion to begin with, that in any way the capitalistic corporation will have the coercive manner is existing. So the point is a relevant comparison here is that this debate is about how to find a meaningful life within this situation where the surrounding environment is worse off as our side continuously closure. But secondly, within a lack of engagement, lack of linkage, ladies and gentlemen, why overworking is self-improvement. They didn't explain about why that working within a black corporation continuously to the extent that they wanted committed to suicide is actually self-improvement, even socially recognized. Even us following their logic, probably the black working in the black corporation is actually socially demonized. Probably that the people don't think that this is actually the way to self-improvement at the end of the day. Therefore, we think that there is a lack of linkage between their analysis and our harm in this debate. Secondly, Deputy Prime Minister said, well, the idealistic form of consequences, the process of self-improvement is going to be imposed on individuals. First of all, they didn't explain about the picturize why they cannot be satisfied with the idealistic form of consequence in the process of self-improvement. Secondly, they said that why they have, even though they said there's an idealistic form of consequence in the process, they didn't explain about why people have to opt in so unsuitable way of self-improvement to begin with. I already told you how people have the incentive to find their own way to improvement to begin with, but furthermore, and also the dictated opposition free characterize how to find the direction of self-improvement to begin with, which is not engaged by their side of the house. But furthermore, they didn't engage with us the meaningful value on the process, ladies and gentlemen. This is the analysis about the consequences of idealistic form of self-improvement. We told you how within the process they made efforts, they find the meaningful life, meaningful value within the process they make the effort. That's why we think they didn't really engage with our very benefit coming from outside of the house. So what I talked to here, what we talked to from outside of the house, second law comparison, right? So we told you how that process of doing their own self-improvement is extremely important, right? We think that people find a meaningful life within that process. We think that on the back side of the house, probably the reason why we think people are lazy, and we told you how the 4 reasons why people are tended to be lazy because of doing making effort is actually technically to some extent hard for themselves. That's why we think that those individuals have the incentive to avoid doing the job without the glorification to enforce individual to make the effort. Within the process, they find the meaningful life. On the other side of the house, probably they regret that consequences of the process, that process where they didn't do anything. Government we said that this regrets regrets the past laziness is going to be is the fact that that narrative is amplified by this glorification. First of all, we know, ladies and gentlemen, we know how the emptiness is created by themselves within their own experiences. But secondly, this first of all, secondly, so even if the regrets has happened on the outside of the house, we think that uniquely on the outside of the house, people can find the next way to improve themselves. On the other side of the house, at the moment they want to they stop improving themselves, provided there's no way for them to go out on the other side of the house, which is a comparison in this debate. So what we talked to here is that on the other side we told you how the coercive narrative to force the individual over and over work is not topical in this debate, and also we told you how the sufficient mechanism as to how that can be prevented. Whereas we told you the tangible benefit of the individual to find a meaningful life within the value. We very hard to those.
Thank you for the remarks. Lastly, I open the device on the government side to summarize this debate in a moment. Here.
Simple two questions from Prime Minister's life. First of all, whether problems we told you are really caused by glorification itself. Secondly, whether glorification is really necessary as opposition side told us. So first of all, whether or not problems are really associated with glorification. So we've told you about problematic situation in Korean too competitive society or companies exploiting individuals. The response from their side of the house was, it's unrealistic, it's caused by profit incentive, it's just personal matter or something like that. But we told you, especially from government, we told you, yes, we agree that problems don't exist only because of this glorification. But it's actually amplified by this narrative, and it's making it more difficult for individuals to opt out from that environment, because the companies justifying themselves that individuals need to improve themselves, and individuals also have that narrative in mind, and they think that they need to continue to be there. That's why problems are amplified, and actually this is one of the causes of those problems that was never touched by their side of the house. And they told us, and from opposition, people like self-improvement itself, like there is good sold books like about self-improvement and so on. But we told you from our side of the house from the beginning, it's fine that if people find that self-improvement is important, and if people want to find about how to improve yourself, then you can go to buy the book, it's fine. But we told you, we should live in the world where also book about how good that laziness is, for example. Those kind of books should be also recognized, and that's kind of what we are talking about. We are not caring about people who like self-improvement in nature. That's why their responses didn't address our issues. And also we told you that another problem that it is going to be singular way of self-improvement if there is a glorification narrative or something like that. Because it's difficult to improve yourself in the very, for example, music, or sports, or politics, or something like that. That's why people are coerced, most of the people are coerced to do the effort in a very simple way. For example, study, going to job hunting, that is very problematic. That was also ignored by the other side of the house. So let's talk about second issue. Whether glorification is really necessary. So the main point was the laziness. But we told you, we responded that already. If people are not satisfied with the status quo of themselves, the people have natural incentive to make effort. And also that laziness and regret for that laziness is amplified narrative there, that glorification or continuous improvement existing. And they also told us that, and continuously asserted, life isn't sustainable without continuous impact. Opposition said happy life or happy family life will be broken somehow if there's not going to continue improvement. But why is that? There's no mechanism, right? Without doing those kind of self-improvement, for example, by earning the minimum amount of salary, you can lead this luxurious life. We think it's also sustainable, and if people are happy with that, we think that's not problematic. And lastly, from their side of the house, they told about the process, the importance of the process. And you are somehow mentally secure because you are making effort to improve yourself and you are satisfied with that process, it's good. But we told you the worst consequences after. Maybe, for example, while you study for the entrance exam of Korean University, you are mentally secure because you are making effort, you are putting investment on your improvement. But the thing is, once it becomes, for example, once you fail in the exam, even though you continue to make effort, it becomes a help. Because you have effort to improve yourself, but actually not realized as a consequences. That will damage individual mentality to the huge extent. That is a cause of suicide, that is a cause of people's loss of dignity. We told you from Prime Minister. So as a summary, it's very simple. We told you problems are not only existing for this narrative, but it's amplified, it's associated with this narrative, and our world will be much better. And conversely, glorification is not really necessary. People can make effort by themselves if you want, and also, even though you fail to make effort, it's not that problematic. So that is a very tough.
Thank you for the remarks. Now all speech is over. Thank you for your cooperations.